we have everyone but Senator Neal joining. So for those that are listening, Secretary Beatty, Mr. Pothier, Colonel Jerry Jones, Bob Gorel, and myself, along with all of our staff from the Maryland Center for School Safety, are online. So good morning to everybody. We do have a quorum. Do we have any additions or amendments to the agenda?
Dr. Salmon, I do have one. I would like to table the regulation for this meeting till next year. That's fine.
Thank you very much. Okay, well, we were going to go ahead and begin with the Maryland Center for School Safety fiscal year 2021 grant review and grant application decisions. Gifty, could we have you present that item, please?
Sure. Good morning, members of the Subcabinet. So before we begin reviewing the FY21 Safe Schools Fund grants for today, we would like to update you on the status of the fiscal year 2021 hate crimes grant and the SRO grants that we received this year. Excuse me. So for the hate crimes grant, we received 45 applications for the fiscal year 2021 hate crimes grant, which amounted to approximately $2.4 million in total requests. Of these, we awarded 43 applications with an average award amount of $46,512. Now, the maximum allowable amount for this grant this year was $60,000. Now, let's see, we had $2 million in fiscal year 2021 hate crimes grant appropriations. So the amount that we awarded equal the amount that we were appropriated this year. For the SRO grants awarded in fiscal year 2021, first of all, the application period was from July 1 through October 30th of this year. MCSS received applications from 21 of the 24 jurisdictions who were eligible to apply. To date, MCSS has awarded approximately $4 million of the $10 million appropriated in fiscal year 2021. And there are currently 2 pending applications that need to be reviewed and approved. And if there are no questions, we can move on to the 14 grants that we have today to be reviewed. All right, so I will start with Allegheny County. Allegheny County is requesting $25,000 for overtime pay for Allegheny County Public School Safety and Security staff that assist with investigations and reviews of camera footage when local law enforcement and school administrators are alerted to break-ins and suspicious activities. They are looking to purchase security cameras for the Allegheny County Public School buildings to help spot suspicious activities. The cost breakdown is about $400 per unit, and they're requesting to purchase 25 units.
Any questions for Gifty on that?
Madam Chair, I have a question.
Nothing
on the, thank you, Madam Chair. Nothing on the cameras, but on the overtime pay, is this just a glitch because they don't have enough people, or why will it be something that they'll continue? How does that work?
So my understanding from them when we followed up is that they don't have any overtime pay allocated in their local budget. They said they have about 6 school safety employees that are hired by the Board of Education for Allegheny County. And so this was a request that would allow them to cover the overtime costs for the 6 school safety employees.
And so they have more work than they can do within their allotted time for those 6 employees.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Other questions for Gifty? All right, if not, do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
All right, a motion by Secretary Beatty. Do we have a second?
I'll second. Jerry Jones.
Colonel Jones. Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions? All right, motion carries unanimously. All right, Gifty, number 2.
Thank you. The second request for review today is from Baltimore County Public School Systems. They are requesting a $25,000 to partner with Concentric Educational Solutions, which provides comprehensive wellness programming for at-risk students. And the request focuses on 4 major areas. The first one is to identify early warning signs of social emotional learning challenges that lead to attendance problems, behavioral issues, and academic challenges. The second one is to conduct individual social emotional learning based home check-ins, preferably 3 days a week. They also want to convene weekly meetings to discuss documented outcomes from the check-in visits. And finally, they would like to provide additional support and resources as necessary. And the attached budget sheet provides the breakdown of what constitutes the $25,000 request.
Questions for Gifty on this particular grant request? Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve?
A motion.
All right, Executive Director Bob Gorel, do we have a second?
I'll second. Jerry Jones.
Second, Colonel Jones. All in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. All right, Gifty.
So our next request is from Calvert County Public Schools. They're requesting $20,763 to purchase and install new Raptor Technologies visitor and emergency management system to replace the current outdated system. Calvert County Public Schools did receive funding in their FY 2020 grant to be used as part of this project, and this is the second phase of that project. They also want to purchase reunification supplies and materials necessary for family reunification efforts during emergency situations. Calvert County Public Schools also received approval in fiscal year 2019 to use part of its Safe Schools Fund for this project. And the fund grant for supplies and materials for the reunification sites is also outlined in the budget sheet that's attached.
Questions? All right, do I have a motion to approve?
I'll motion to approve.
Mr. Gorel, do we have a second? Second, Mr. Pierre. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Gifty?
Yes, ma'am. So the next grant to be reviewed is from Caroline County Public Schools. They're requesting $25,000 to install fiber optic cables to 4-H Park to provide high-speed internet access to Caroline County Public Schools employees on site to aid in quickly and efficiently assessing student and employee database during family reunification situations. Now, Caroline County Public Schools, in partnership with Caroline County Department of Emergency Services, identified 4-H Park, which is located in Denton, Maryland, to serve as their family reunification site. 4-H Park is managed by the Caroline County Recreational and Parks Department. The projected cost of the fiber optic cables and installation is $30,000, and Caroline County will cover the additional cost of $5,000 through local funding.
For Gifty?
I have questions.
Bob?
As I understand that the county then owns this property, and can we invest in the county property?
So I will pass this on to Director Hession, but my understanding is because of the purpose of the use of the fund, I'm not sure if there are any reservations as to why we would not be able to fund it, but I'll also hand it over to Director Hession to provide additional info.
Thanks, Gifty. The state has funded individual county initiatives. The question is, so reunification is one of the biggest challenges in an evacuation incident. The ability for the school system to be able to identify students, faculty, match them up with the correct individuals, whoever's going to be picking those students up is critical. They are recognizing a need that they do not have this internet capability. We know it's a challenge throughout the state. They do not have that capability at this site, but the site was identified by both the emergency management as well as the school system as the best location for this unification site. So the question, I believe, is for the subcabinet of whether or not this would be a reasonable use of these Safe Schools funds.
So I would just also like to add that during the pandemic and during our delivery of services to areas where we have not had connectivity, we have put, school systems have paid to put internet connectivity in firehouses, many other areas. So I have no issues with this. I think it's a good plan, and that happens to be a very good place, I think, knowing the area, to do that reunification. So I would encourage a positive response. Other questions?
Just to follow up on that, and this would be on the ones for the systems that have been installed in fire stations and that. Who maintains the systems? I see the majority of the costs are coming from the state, or and for the benefit, of course, of the LEA. But then there's the ownership of keeping it up. There's a little equipment on both ends, for instance. Is that something the county takes on? Is there an agreement to
Yeah, I
keep that?
think they're probably handshake kinds of things right now because of the critical nature of the pandemic. And I don't think anybody's had any concerns about going forward. I think everybody's working together for the very best they can for our kids right now.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, no further questions. Do I have a motion to approve this grant for Caroline County?
I'll make a motion.
All right, Colonel Jones, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Secretary Beatty as a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you. All right, Gifty.
Yes, ma'am. The next grant to be reviewed is from Frederick County Public School Systems. They're requesting $23,678 to purchase and replace old analog cameras and equipment with new cameras and IP equipment at Kemptown Elementary Schools. They're requesting 3 exterior units, 9 interior units, and of course the self-supporting equipment. The supplies, materials, and installation costs for those cameras, plus the actual equipment, are outlined in the budget sheet that's provided.
Questions on this grant? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve? Mr. Pothier has a move to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second from Secretary Beatty. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Thank you. Back to you, Gifty.
Next grant on the list is from Garrett County Public Schools. They're requesting $25,000 to upgrade the security vestibule at Grantsville Elementary School. to properly conform with the CDC, MDH, and Garrett County Health Department COVID-19 guidelines. This upgrade includes relocating the current door entry system from inside the front vestibule to the outside of the front door. They are requesting to install 2 new video cameras as an addition to the existing 32-channel DVR system they currently have. They're also requesting to install a door release button at the main office to control building access. Garrett County is also requesting to purchase Stop the Bleed kits to support the Garrett County Public Schools Stop the Bleed program. They're requesting to purchase and install Knox boxes to allow first responders quick access to the school building. They are requesting 10 units at a $441 per unit cost. Garrett County is also requesting to purchase and install exterior door numbers for all Garrett County Public Schools in accordance with the crime prevention through environmental design guidelines. And finally, they're requesting to purchase a Motorola 2 radio, which will operate on the Maryland First digital platform. The unit will be installed in the Garrett County Public School Emergency Response Vehicle. Now, the projected cost for the radio is $15,537, which puts them over the $25,000 maximum allowable amount. And so we have received confirmation from Garrett County Public Schools that they will cover the $2,600 balance that is the amount over the request.
Questions on this grant?
It's Bob, I have a couple.
Go ahead.
The first one is, and it's just really a comment, that Garrett County has an open floor plan request to do work at this school that they're doing the vestibule work. So it would be good for them to coordinate. Maybe we can put a note in the award for them to do so. And I don't see a reason why that wouldn't be possible. And then on the radio is in a vehicle. They have a separate emergency response vehicle for that county. Is that common that within the LEAs? Because I'm ignorant on that.
I will pass this on to Deputy Director Dino. He has more information on this.
Good morning, everybody. I know Montgomery County has several vehicles for their safety security personnel to respond to their different schools. Prince George's County does. I know Worcester County does. Steve Price on there has a vehicle that is all, for lack of a better word, trick for response for any issues at their schools. It's not uncommon, accessible to their safety security heads. This is a 2-way mobile radio. I checked with a friend of mine from Queen Anne's County who's had installation. And this is about an average price for the mobile head that goes in the front box, the radio box that will be in the back somewhere, the hardware, and the installation and wiring of this.
Okay. And does this replace then a central emergency response office?
The vehicle itself, Bob?
Yes. Does this vehicle replace the central emergency response office for?
No, it just creates a mobile response office.
Thank you. No more questions.
All right. I have a motion to approve this grant for Garrett County.
So moved.
Do we have a second? Mr. Pierre.
Dr. Salmon, I believe we lost your audio.
Still.
Hear me now? I think this is it's playing a trick on me here because it says that I'm unmuted, but I'm really not. So I apologize. So we do have a motion and a second on this grant. Do we are ready to vote? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right. We are approved on that one. Go ahead, Gifty, for our next one.
Sure. The next request is from Hafford County Public Schools. They're requesting $25,000 to fund their mental health services to Hafford County Public School students. During the COVID-19 pandemic, the Hafford County Public School Emotional Recovery Team has been monitoring the needs of both students and families and has identified mental health instability as a major issue of concern. So the Hafford County Public School Office of Student Services, which oversees the school-based crisis teams, working with the Safety and Security Office, identified 4 initiatives to help address the students' family mental health needs. The first initiative is the crisis prevention training that will be provided by the Crisis Prevention Institute. The next one is orientation and mobility for students with visual impairment with support from the Maryland School for the Blind. They also want to focus on the question, persuade, refer, suicide prevention classes, and also mental health awareness classes. Now, the budget sheet that's attached provides a breakdown, but the crisis prevention training trainer stipends are outlined in terms of how many hours that will be provided and what the costs are. There's also a detailed breakdown for the crisis prevention training participant stipends. The orientation and mobility specialist that will be provided is a contractual pay between Hartford County and the Maryland School for the Blind. The projected cost is $93 per hour for 100 hours in contract with the Maryland School for the Blind. And they also propose a Stop the Stigma event, which also includes supplies for that particular event. And again, the budget sheet provides a detailed breakdown of the request.
Questions for Gifty on this particular grant request?
Just one.
Go ahead, Mr. Doral.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Stipends, can we pay stipends to, I assume that these are already employed people within the LEA?
Yeah, I think we have done that before in many of our
Okay.
grants. So I think as long as it's not excessive, I think we've done that.
Thank you.
All right, do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Secretary Beatty has moved. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Colonel Jones? Okay, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Back to you, Gifty.
The next grant is from grant request is from Kent County Public Schools. They're requesting to install assurance media halo smart detectors at Kent County High School to detect smoking, vaping, gunshots, and disturbances in the school bathrooms. The cost breakdown is $1,186 per unit, and they're requesting 6 units. They are also requesting to purchase a power generator to replace the old generator, and we have received confirmation that the current generator is about 20 years old. This generator is currently located at the Kent County High School football stadium, and the request would be to replace that generator. The total request from Kent County is $24,834.35.
So I have a question. How do we relate the generator to the school safety initiatives?
So that's a very good question, and this was one that we addressed in reviewing the grants. What we understand is that the high school football stadium currently is used for a lot of their activities, and so to prevent the issues of loss of power when they're there, they wanted to request this. Now, it's also something that we've since identified as something that's more related to what ISC offers. And so we wanted to bring the request as was presented and have the subcabinet decide if it's something that we should fund.
Madam Chair?
Yes, Mr. Gurl.
It is exactly the kind of project that that we would look at, and we would look at, even though it's 20 years old, it may be fine. We would want to look at the maintenance records, see how it's going and why it needs to be replaced. And so I think that that would be appropriate if they wanted to do that. I think it is exterior lighting. It could be argued that it is for safety and security of the people there. Nevertheless, the checks and balances, as I brought up the maintenance previously on the fiber systems, it's something that really a lot of attention needs to be paid for, because it's not just the first cost. It's has to be reliable.
That's correct. Could we then, would you all be in favor of deferring this until we find out more information and kind of kick it back to the IAC to take a look at this particular part of the grant? We could go ahead and approve the other pieces if you so desire, but I'll leave that up to someone to make a motion.
I would motion that, and further that we could follow this up with additional information, and I can't see a reason why it couldn't be funded from this program, but maybe if we had a little time to review it, we could bring back support or not at the next meeting.
Since our meeting isn't for another quarter, would you be comfortable as a subcabinet in letting the staff of the school safety group make that determination once we have that additional information? And certainly, Bob, you would be working with Kate on this issue.
I would further qualify that motion to say just what you said. Thank you,
Okay.
Madam Chair.
All right, so we have a motion to do what Bob just said and summarize that we would approve the first part of their grant requests. The IAC staff would take a look at the generator issue and work with the school safety subcabinet on further motion on that particular aspect of the grant. Do we have a second for that motion? For Mr. Pothier. All right, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Abstentions. All right, that motion carries. Thank you. Good suggestions, everyone. All right, Christy.
All right, so the next grant to be reviewed is from Montgomery County. They're requesting $25,000 to purchase 49 emergency two-way handheld portable radios for the Montgomery County Public Schools on-site emergency team. The on-site emergency team is responsible for responding to and resolving school-related emergencies, crises, or critical life-threatening situations. Now, I just wanted to stress, because we've received additional information, that these are school-based local radios that allow administrators to talk within the building. They come with a charger, a spare battery for each radio, and or just used again for internal purposes. Again, they're requesting $25,000 to be used to purchase the 49 emergency two-way radios.
Any questions, Gifty? All right, do we have a motion to approve the grant for Montgomery County Public Schools?
I would make a motion for that.
All right, Mr. Gurl made the motion. Do we have a second? Mr. Pothier? All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Back to you, Gifty.
The next grant to be reviewed is from Prince George's County Public Schools. They are requesting $24,965 to provide a behavioral threat assessment training to PG County Public Schools administrators, school counselors, school psychologists, and security personnel. The behavioral threat assessment training will focus specifically on PG County Public Schools Comprehensive Threat Assessment Guidelines. The goal of the Comprehensive Threat Assessment Guidelines training is to help schools respond to student threat with an emphasis on resolving conflict, as well as the problem that precipitated the threatening behavior. Now, the cost breakdown, again, is included in the budget sheet, but there is two different levels of training. The level 1 online training module will include 145 participants at $85 per participant. The level 2 virtual workshop, which includes 2 sessions with the 100 maximum participants, will be at a $2,500 per session. They also have a train the trainer program to prepare trainers to lead the level 2 workshop at $1,500 per participant. And they are proposing 4 participants in total for this initiative. And of course, the supplies and materials, which is primarily the training manuals. Again, the budget breakdown provides all of the information. The total request is $24,965.
Questions for Gifty on this grant request?
Madam Chair,
Bob?
I would make a motion to approve, and I'd also comment that this seems very well done, that they have been very conservative in how that they've approached this to be able to roll it out to as many people as possible, not only the first time, but to continue it with their Train the Trainer program.
It's very good observation, and thank you for bringing that to light. We have a second then to Bob's motion to approve.
I'll second.
All right, Colonel Jones, great. All right, so all in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, motion carries. Thank you.
Okay, our next request is from Queen Anne's County Public Schools. They're requesting $21,072 to purchase and install exterior lighting control systems for 8 area schools to address the issue of trespassing and vandalism on school grounds. The cost breakdown is provided in the budget sheet, but it includes turnkey installation services and the actual controller output at $1,065 per unit for 8 different units.
I make a motion to approve.
All right, Mr. Girls made a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Secretary Beatty seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, motion carries unanimously. Thank you.
Our next request is from St. Mary's County Public Schools. They're requesting $24,945 to purchase Gaggle Safety Management Software for St. Mary County Public Schools Google platform. Excuse me. This software will enable St. Mary's County Public Schools to monitor student technology use on school-issued equipment. Similar services will also be available for all St. Mary County Public School Office 365 products. This software establishes a formal and anonymous mechanism for reporting safety concerns. Now, the cost breakdown is between the actual software, a one-time setup fee, and the professional development provided by Gaggle.net to the St. Mary's County staff for the actual use of the software itself. And again, the request is for $24,945.
Hearing no questions, do we have a motion to approve? Mr. Pothier has moved to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second from Secretary Beatty. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Thank you. Back to you, Gifty.
All right, our next request, last but one, is from Washington County Public Schools. They're requesting $25,000 to be used to provide mental health services to Washington County Public School students. The categories supported include professional development for staff to receive training on identifying student mental health issues, in community engagements and therapeutic services. Now, the cost breakdown includes school-based therapy services for Washington County Public School students provided by contractual mental health providers. It also includes transportation to mental health appointments for Washington County Public School students and families. It also requests for professional development for teachers, administrators, and school-employed mental health staff. And of course, the mental health event supplies and materials as indicated on their actual application. The cost breakdown, again, is included in the budget sheet that's attached, and the total request is $25,000.
Questions for this grant? All right, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
For approval.
All right, Colonel Jones, second.
Second.
Secretary Beatty. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Thank you very much.
And our final grant request is from Wycomico County Public School System. They are requesting to purchase a Motorola two-way radio for staff to help improve communication among staff during any potentially threatening situation that occurs in the school or in the community. They're requesting 5 units at $44.12 and 7 cents per unit. They're also requesting to purchase Impress 2-wire earpieces to aid school administrators in transmitting and receiving communications discreetly. They're requesting 30 units at a $90 cost per unit.
Questions for
I have a question.
Bob?
Yes. Of course, these are a lot more expensive than the Montgomery radios. Are they capable of the Maryland First digital channel, like Garrett's mobile unit?
So again, I'll defer to Deputy Director Dino.
Yes, sir. Sir, yeah. The school system has their own talk group also. This allows the to be used in the school system also for they to communicate with public safety responders to the schools. These are these are non-ruggedized radios, not quite like what the fire rescue and the law enforcement system uses, but that's why less than what you would normally see. But it is the Motorola system that they use in that county.
Okay, I couldn't completely hear on the question of whether they will interface with the Maryland One system. Was that a yes or no?
They have that capability, yes, Bob.
Thank you. Okay, so is the one for 15,537? It just has greater range in the mobile unit?
So doesn't necessarily have greater range, but it's a full package, so it's integrated within the vehicle itself. It's not a portable radio.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions on this grant? All right, do we have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
All right, Mr. Gurl, do we have a second?
I'll second.
That was Colonel Jones. Thank you. All in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Thank you very much, Gifty, for your presentation. Appreciate it and all the analysis that went with it. And could we stop now? I think we need to go back and approve our minutes from the last meeting. So could I get a motion to approve the minutes from our last meeting?
I'll make a motion for that.
All right, Mr. Gurl, do we have a second?
I'll second.
All right, Secretary, thank you. All in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, any abstentions? All right, and thank you to our attorney for the reminder about our minutes. She keeps us on the right path here, so I appreciate that. I didn't even notice it was not on the agenda, which I should have earlier when I approved it, but we'll try to
I
remember for
didn't
next
notice.
time. Yeah.
Yes, we'll correct that.
Yeah. Okay. So now we're going to move into the draft annual report, which is going to be discussed by Craig. So could you join us, Craig? Good morning. Good to see you.
Good morning. How are you guys?
Very good.
Well, I hope you're all having a lovely November. And as was mentioned prior to this meeting, you were all sent a draft of the Subcabinet report on MCSS activities for the last year. So as you will have noted from the report, this was a year of adversity-fueled innovation for MCSS. We are particularly proud of quickly transitioning our trainings to online and/or hybrid delivery models while still maintaining their high quality. And similarly, we reimagined our summer conference into a virtual summer seminar series, which was well received and well attended. Another highlight mentioned in the report is the new MCSS website, which successfully shares valuable resources and information with our diverse constituencies. I want to draw your specific attention to the final page of the report, which lays out the Subcabinet recommendations for the year ahead. So with that, and as this Subcabinet report on MCSS activities is due in December, I now throw the ball in your court for discussion or comments, questions, and ultimate approval.
Questions for the annual report, which I thought was very well done.
Thank you.
Hearing no questions, Craig, do we have a motion to approve the annual report to be sent on?
Yes, I would tell you to do it.
All right, I need a motion from one of the Subcabinet members. Mr. Pothier as the motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second for Mr. Gorel. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? We have approved our annual report, and I must say, Craig, you have a unique way of using language to describe the situation. I think I might have to borrow some of that from you after this meeting, but well done, well done.
It's my pleasure. Thank you. Have a great day.
You too.
Thanks.
Okay, next we have the review of our adequate coverage report, and that would be Jan.
All right, I'll give a minute there for Jessica to present that.
Good morning.
Right. Good morning, everyone. So I hope you all got a copy of the SRO Adequate Coverage Report. The SRO Adequate Coverage Report summarizes school resource officer coverage and adequate law enforcement coverage within local school systems jurisdictions. So let's just start taking a look at all those data that we obtained from the report. In page 2, as you can see, the first pie chart that you see is that dictates the number of public schools that have SRO assigned full-time coverage versus law enforcement adequate coverage. Here we have 328 schools with full-time assigned SRO coverage and 1,090 schools with law enforcement adequate coverage. That's 23% of the schools covered with SROs and the rest with law enforcement coverage. Let's move on to the next page. Okay, the next page we have a table that basically dictates all the information we obtained from the collection efforts of all 24 different jurisdictions. So we have the number of public schools, we know that, and the number of SROs that are part of those public school systems. And then the next column indicates the number of assigned full-time SROs. And then finally, we see that the rest of the schools that are covered with law enforcement coverage. So let me move on to the next page, please. So here we see a Sankey chart, which looks a little complicated, but it is a good way to show the proportion of how each school system is dealing with coverage. And you can see the magnitude of the bigger systems versus the smaller systems. At the same time, the proportion of how much assigned SRO coverage is given to each jurisdiction and overall, what's the picture? And that's what we're trying to express through this chart here. We have reported 1,418 schools. These are facilities, so there may be combined schools in here. And then within that, you see it's also arranged in the order of how much assigned SRO coverage each jurisdiction is going for. So towards the bottom, we have 100% coverage, and towards the top, you see 0% coverage. In fact, some of the reason you can see there is mainly because SROs are shared between schools. If they're going between schools for coverage, they don't come under full-time assigned coverage. So they may not get full percentage in terms of the assigned full-time coverage. So that basically gives a complete picture of where Maryland stands in terms of SRO adequate coverage within our local jurisdictions. Okay, if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer now.
Questions on this report? Very effective in conveying a lot of information on one page.
Yeah. Is that, did we get that? I didn't see it till just now.
Yes, we've had it
All right,
for
thank
quite
you.
a while.
All right, if there's no further questions.
All right. Do we need a motion to approve this one too, Kate?
No, this one's out and has been submitted.
Okay, great. All right, good job. Thank you very much. We're now going to move into a closed session. Could I have our attorney give us the word for that particular closed session? I think I have it on my email, but let me double check.
Sorry, I was trying to unmute myself. Yes, I can give you the reading or the wording.
Thank you, Dawn.
So the Subcabinet of the Maryland Center for School Safety as a public body must conduct its meetings in open session. However, certain items that the Subcabinet may discuss should be conducted in closed session. The Subcabinet shall conduct the following business in a closed session on November 9th, 2020 during its online live streamed meeting. A detailed discussion of data received by the Maryland Center for School Safety pursuant to Maryland Code Annotated Education Article 7-1508H involving numbers less than 10 where the disclosure may identify an individual student involved. This discussion shall be conducted in closed session pursuant to Section 3-305B2 of the General Provisions Article. Specifically, this report and discussion of data relates to the use of force data collection report, which is due for the first time for the Center for School Safety on December 1st, 2020. The session will also allow for legal advice regarding the matters referenced within that report to be sought by the subcabinet members pursuant to Section 3-305B7 of the General Provisions Article.
Thank you, Dawn. And so the session.
So moved.
All right, Secretary Beatty, do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, second, Mr. Gordon. All right, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, we're going to move into and we'll be back in session probably within a 30-minute time period. So please get into your other meeting assignment. Thank you.
Colonel Jones and Mr. Portier, there was a separate link, meeting link that was provided for the closed session. Please check your email and you'll be able to access it.
I sent that information to them privately over chat. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
So we have, we're going to section 5 in our agenda because we have tabled section 4 on the regulation. And so I think we are, Kate, if you want to just review the next meetings that we are slated to have.
Sure. So currently we are scheduled for February 8th, May 10th, August 9th, and November 8th. So if those dates work with the subcabinet, we can schedule them accordingly.
Any issues with those dates? I would just like to say that I will only be here for 2 of those dates. So hopefully you'll have someone else to lead you or to connect with you after June 30th of 2021. All right. It sounds like those are good dates. So we'll go ahead and get those on the calendar. And hopefully at some point we can get back together and actually be in person. That would be nice. Maybe we could strive for that in our May meeting. Keep our fingers crossed that that might happen. So any other business that we need to cover today, Kate?
Nothing for the center.
Any other comments from the subcabinet?
I have none.
All right. With that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Mr. Gurl. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. We had 2 seconds. We had Colonel Jones and Mr. Pothier, so we have a double second. And I'm sure we don't have anyone that wants to be in opposition. Is that correct? So we'll say all in favor.
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Aye. Thank you, everyone. It was nice to virtually see you today. Please take care. Please continue to do your best at social distancing and following all the guidelines so that we can keep everyone safe and get our kids back to school. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.